So we are going to talk about data science, and every session will be recorded here. So I'll be sending the link in your groups. There are more people actually who are expected to join in the group, right? So I was talking about this. This is the syllabus which is given to me. We will try to move according to the syllabus only. So before that, as you can see, or many of you might have heard about the word data science most of the time. This is something buzzword actually. We will try to start for the data science from the scratch. Even if some of you is not aware about what is data science, or even if you are not aware about Python or R, don't worry. I will try to start from the basics, and we will try to see all these things one by one. So I will try to make all the sessions as hands-on as possible. Wherever I feel that okay, I should give you something, some documents or some notes, I'll be giving you code theory, or whatever the mathematics behind that, I'll be sharing with all of you. Okay, so before starting with this, let me give you a brief introduction about myself. As this is our first session, so it's very necessary to have a introduction. Okay, so let me just introduce in short, and then I will start with the session. So my name is Yogesh Modamkar. I have total 11 years of experience, including industrial experience and teaching and training experience. So I completed my engineering from Pune University in 2009, and then I worked in Capgemini for 4 years. After that, I went out to complete my post graduation from Pune University itself, and then after that, I started conducting different trainings in different domains like big data, data analytics, business analytics. You might have heard about something like Hadoop, HBase, Peak, Hive, SQL, Unix. And since from the last 2 years, I started with my own startup with the name Bharat Soft Solutions, and we people work in development as well as in training. Okay, so we work in the domains like data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, neural network, and we make use of the tools and technologies like Python, R, Java, Hadoop, Tableau, Power BI, Microsoft Power BI, and AWS, Amazon Web Services, different cloud platforms we make use of. So we are in training as well as in development. So as a part of training, what I generally do is I go to different companies. I go to different universities, different colleges for training students, for training different professionals in all these domains. And one more side of this one is that I always look out for this kind of opportunities to teach in different institutes. So so that from those institutes we also get some candidates which are capable of working in teams, which are capable of working in real time projects. So I always look out for those things also. As let me tell you, on the first day itself, let me tell you that at Bharat Solutions we also provide sponsorships and internships for students. Right. So I always look out for the students who are eager to learn these things. Okay, and who are always there to make out of all the opportunities, whatever the opportunities come across them, right? So we always look out for those. So try to understand. We provide you sponsorships as well as internships. So that is all about myself in a brief. Okay. Now moving to the syllabus itself, let me try to give you a very basic idea about all this stuff. So before starting with the first unit itself, in this subject, that is data science, the first unit is fundamentals of data science, as you can see. So what I will do, I will try to, as I told you that I'm not expecting that you should be knowing about Python, or you should be knowing about R, or you should be knowing about Java or something. I'm just expecting that you just be there for all the sessions. I will try to make all the sessions as hands-on as possible so that everyone will be able to get each and everything. And at the end of the session, I'll be hoping that you should be able to work on projects. I'll be showing you some projects also, and even how to deploy those projects onto clouds. We will try to talk about that. Okay, let's see how it all goes. So what I will do, first and foremost thing is, I will try to talk about basic things. So maybe before starting with this. So as you can see in this, they are talking about fundamentals of data science and introduction to machine learning models, data visualization. These are the topics you can see here. They have listed down in your syllabus. Along with this, so there are 4 units and data visualization and tools are also there. So here you can check some of the points if I want to tell you. So see here they are talking about R as well as Python. So these are the two languages. So it all depends on which one you prefer. We will try to compare R as well as Python. Both of them we will try to compare, and I will be trying to show you all the models or all the concepts or many of them with the help of both R as well as Python. So make it a note that I am not expecting that you should be aware about R or Python. Even if not, don't worry. I'll be giving you all the material which is necessary for preparing for all this. So I have actually divided. Suppose if you want to learn R from the basics, so I have divided R sessions into uh, uh, all the things about R in 9 sessions, right? And same is the thing for Python also. So it all depends on how much time you will give for all these things, right? So whether it's R or Python, don't worry. I'll be telling you what to do to learn all those things, and I'll be giving you some notes from my side. Okay. So we will be starting with this unit, fundamentals of data science. So as I told you, I'll be discussing about basic things. So let me talk about some of the basic things like. So I hope everyone is able to see the black screen. Okay. So I am going to make some of the things clear here. For example, I will talk about what is data. Because whether you talk about data science, you talk about machine learning, you talk about data analytics, you talk about business analytics, computer vision, natural language processing, artificial intelligence, nothing is possible without data, right? So that's why even if you people might have heard about this particular term many times, I will just try to make the things clear here. So I will try to start with this particular term, what is data, and then one by one we will try to see other basic terms which are dependent on data. Okay, so first of all, let me ask you people, what do you understand by data? Let me just check how many of you are aware about the correct meaning of data. So you can just answer this question in the chat box. What do you understand by data? Even if I'm again repeating, even if you might have heard about this particular term many times, it's a very common term. But I'm asking you, what is data? Can anyone just reply me back? What do you understand by data? Very basic term, but very important. Anyone just reply me, what do you understand by data? What is the meaning of data? Because this is what is going to give you the idea, right, of how much you know. So yes, people are answering the questions like Mahak Kolkar has answered it. Then Araf has answered. Someone is saying raw information. Many of people are saying that available information, right? Raw set of information. Rahul Sannath is saying. Saket Kumar is saying facts and statistics. Akshar Baranwal is saying information stored in structured way. That is a data structure. He is saying. Okay. So I can find out from your answers. That's good. You people are answering. That's good. So many of you are saying that data is information, right? But let me make a that point. Let me make the point clear here that data is not information. I can see in the chat box many people are answering that data is information. No, data is not information. Just try to understand that. Even if I have seen many experienced people also, they are making mistakes. Try to understand. Data is not information. If data would have been information, then why would have there been two terms, let's say separate terms? A collection of numbers, or attributes. This is what Manisha Kohli is saying. Right? She is saying it's a collection of numbers or attributes. Okay, let's try to see what is data. But try to understand data is not an information. Data is different, information is different. So that's what I will do. I will try to write down both the terms separately. Data is different and information is different. So as this is the first session, let us try to make the things clear. Okay. So what is data? Data is a raw material. Always remember, data is not information. Data is just a raw material. I will give a very good example to understand this. And what is information? Information is processed data. Try to understand. Data is not information. Information is processed data. Okay, so data is different and information is different. Data is a raw material. Data is just a raw material, and information is processed data. Now, what do you mean by that? For example, if I say there is something which is in the shape of cone, there is something which is sweet, there is something which is cold, right? So this is nothing but data, but it is called as ice cream, is nothing but information, right? So just try to understand with the help of this example. This is nothing but data. This is nothing but information. So data is just a raw material, right? Data is just a raw material, and information is processed data. That's the basic difference between data and information. Okay. Now, if you people have understood what is data and what is information, so I will again repeat: data is just a raw material. Information is processed data. Information is something which you get from data. Right. So I hope everyone is clear about this. So now try to clear that confusion. Data is not information. Whenever someone asks you what is data, always remember that data is not information. Data is raw material. Data is just a raw material. Information is a process. Now, if you understood data, now I will ask you another question. What is database? Again, this is not a new term for me. Right? What many of you might have heard about this particular term many times. So can you people answer this? What is database according to you? Okay, that's good. I am getting answers. So data. So yeah, Amin Arab is saying that collection of data, source of data. Saket Kumar is saying source of data. Collection of related data. That's good. Someone has said collection of related data. So Nishan Shah, you are absolutely right. Sai is also right. Set of data. Set of data. Many of you are saying set of. Yes, some of you have correctly answered that. Database is a collection of this term is very important. Collection of related data. Okay, collection of related data is nothing but database. Always said why I'm saying that collection of related data is database. We will try to make a point about that. Okay, before that, as there is a database, there is something called as data warehouse also. Okay, so database is a collection of related data. Data warehouse is also a database. But the difference between database and data warehouse is that database stores current data and data warehouse stores historical data. The best example of database is OLTP system. Now, what do you mean by OLTP? Online transaction processing. For example, online railway reservation, or for example, book my show. What do we do whenever we want to book a ticket? We go and we try to book a ticket online. So, what happens because of that? The data will be stored in database directly. The current data will be stored in database. What happens with data warehouse is data warehouse stores historical data. See, I'm not saying that data warehouse is something different. Data warehouse is also a database. But the difference between database and data warehouse is that database stores current data. For example, online railway reservation. So what do we do? We try to put all the information, right? Or maybe, for example, if you are filling an examination form, so what do we do? You write down your name, you write down your marks, and all the other details, fees details, and everything. So that is the current data that will be stored into database directly. But data warehouse is not like that. Data warehouse, for example, the data which is very old, maybe 6 months old, 1 year old, 5 years old. For example, banks, right? For example, State Bank of India. So the data of all the customers after some time will be moved from the database to the data warehouse. Now, why to store the data in the data warehouse? Always remember, data warehouse stores historical data and database stores current data. The best example of database is OLTP, online transaction processing, like online railway reservation or book my show or online aeroplane ticket booking, right? And the best example of data warehouse is OLAP, online analytical processing, right? So historical data, current data, right? But at the end of the day, data warehouse is also a database. That's the point. Now, why historical data is also stored? Because from the historical data, many things are possible. For example, historical data in data warehouse can be very useful for decision making, can be very useful for analytics, right? So for example, if you want to develop some model, in our syllabus we will be developing some models, right? And for that we will be using data, right? So for example, if you want to develop some model, now obviously for developing the model you are going to require data, and the models will be developed based on historical data. In that case, data warehouse are going to come. The basic difference between database and data warehouse is that database stores current data, data warehouse stores historical data. Size of the database is less as compared to data warehouse. Size of the data warehouse is huge because it stores historical data, maybe 5 years of data, 10 years of data, and so on, depending on the domain. For example, bank or financial domain, right? So that's a difference between database and data warehouse. Now, moving forward, as we are clear about database, data warehouse, data, and information, let me try to talk about one more common thing, that is nothing but DBMS. So, can you people tell me what do you understand by DBMS? What is DBMS according to you? You might have heard this particular word also. Again, very simple term, very common term. DBMS, anyway. Yeah. So database management system. Anurag Jodhekar is absolutely right. But Anurag, that's the full form of DBMS. I'm asking you, what is that? Database management system? Yes, I know that. DBMS is nothing but database management system. But what do you understand by that? What is the meaning of it? What is DBMS? That's what I'm asking. So anyone can you just answer that question? Anurag has definitely tried successfully to answer that. It will be the full form. But yes, full form, many of you might be knowing that DBMS is the simple database management system. So yes, Saket is absolutely right. So software to manage data in database. So Mark also is saying that manage the data. Manage the data means this is what it does. But Saket has absolutely answered this. Absolutely correctly. He has correctly answered that. DBMS is just a software. Right? In simple terms, if I want to tell you what is DBMS is just a software storing data securely. Yes, Soumya. Storing data securely, that's what DBMS does. I asked you what is DBMS. Okay, you are right. That's what DBMS does. But I asked you what is DBMS. So in simple words, DBMS is just a software. And you know what is software? Software is a collection of programs. And what is program? Program is a collection of instructions. And what is an instruction? Instruction is collection of zeros and ones. And zeros and ones is nothing but binary language. And binary language is the thing which computer understands. Right? That's why we are just trying to discuss all these basic terms, because later on there should not be any confusion. Whenever we will go and we will try to discuss about some advanced topics, basic things should be very much clear, right? So software is a collection of programs, right? Program is a collection of instructions. Instruction is a single collection of zeros and ones. That's what binary language. That's what computer actually understands. So in simple words, I just want to tell you that software DBMS is just a software. So if you are clear about DBMS, then there is something called as RDBMS, right? So can anyone tell me what is this R in RDBMS? What this R stands for in RDBMS? Can anyone tell me? DBMS we have just now talked about. Can you people tell me about what is that R in RDBMS? Yes, anyone? Again, RDBMS might not be a new term for you. Okay, some people are answering the question. So yes, relational DBMS. Relation. Raj Nandini, Aman, Aisha, Rahul, and Mark. Yes, definitely. All of you are right. So R in RDBMS actually stands for relation or relational database management system. Now, what do you understand by relation in database terminology? Always remember, relation in database terminology always means table. In simple words, you remember it as a table. Relation in R in RDBMS or relation in database terminology always means table. That means what do you mean by RDBMS? RDBMS is a DBMS which deals with tabular data. Always remember. RDBMS is a database management system which always deals with tabular data. I hope everyone is clear about that. And once again, if someone is having any doubt, it may be very basic doubt, don't worry. If anyone is having any doubt, please feel free to ask. Right? Later on, when we will be discussing about models, when we will be discussing about algorithms, when we will be discussing about data science, machine learning, exploratory data analysis, and some mathematics. Right? All these terms are going to come into picture. That's why I just want everyone to be very much aware about all these terms. Many of you might be knowing about all these terms already. That's fine. Okay, if someone is not aware about these terms, that's also fine, no problem. But yes, if you have any doubt in between, you can stop me and you can ask the question in the chat box. Right? If you want me to unmute you, that is also possible, no problem. Okay? So, see, please feel free to ask. I want everyone uh, to be very much clear about all these things, because at the end of this complete course, I want everyone to understand how to develop models, and maybe either in Python or in R. Whatever the documents are required for that, I'll be giving each and everything. Because my planning is that at the end of this course, I want you to show. Uh, I'll be showing you a complete project, end-to-end project, starting from data fetching till deployment, and I will be showing you each and everything practically. So that's why understanding all these terms is very, very important. If you are present for each and every system, then only you will be able to understand all the things. So that's why I'm repeating those things again and again. That if you have any question, please raise your hand, ask me to unmute you. I'm ready for that. No problem. Okay. So till now we have talked about what is data, what is information, what is database, what is data warehouse, what is the difference between database and data warehouse. Then we talked about DBMS, and we just now talked about RDBMS. So we concluded that RDBMS is nothing but a database management systems with respect to tabular data. Now, as you people have understood about database, so can you give me some of the examples of databases which you know? Can you just list down in the chat box names of the databases which you are aware about, which you might have heard, which you might have come across? Any database name anyone knowing about or anyone come across? Okay. Kaggle. Okay, Kaggle is a Kaggle. We cannot say. Yeah, MySQL. Pradnesh, that's right. Monisha, that's right. Oracle, Anurag, that's right. So people are saying these are the names of the databases. There's some other databases they have. See, MySQL is a database. Oracle is a database. Some of you might have heard about something like MongoDB. Maybe in your different other subjects. MongoDB is a database which can store data in key and value. Okay, so MongoDB is a database. Okay, can you people answer? All of you heard about this one, Microsoft Excel. Can you people answer this question? Is Microsoft Excel a database? Just say yes or no. My question is it a database, Microsoft Excel? So Aman Kumar is saying yes, it's a database. Karan is saying no, it's not a database. Any other answer? What about others? My question is Microsoft Excel, is it a database? Yes, all of you? Okay, just a minute. Okay, I got some answers. Before that, this. Yeah. So people are answering yes, no, yes, no. Some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. So I got some answers. Yeah, yeah. Many of them they are saying no. Sakit has said yes. It's a tool to create database. Okay. Rahul is saying no. Vikrant is saying no. So let me tell you. My question was simple. My question was Microsoft Excel. Is it a database? So many of you are saying no. So let me tell you that Microsoft Excel is also a database. Okay. So just this. Okay. So Microsoft Excel is also a database. Those people who are saying no, make a correction that Microsoft Excel is a database. Just now we have seen the database definition. What is the definition of database? Collection of related data is called as database. So always remember Microsoft Excel is a database. My next question is a text file. Is it a database? Text file. Is it a database? Can you people just answer that text file? I'm giving some answers here. So Keshav is saying no. Vikrant is saying no. Saket Kumar is saying no. Okay. So let me tell you, I think yes. Isha Srivastava is saying yes. So yes, absolutely, Isha, you are right. Text file is also a database. See, database is nothing new. Always try to understand. That's where many people are confused. That's why I just choose to talk about this particular term. Always remember. Microsoft Excel is a database. Text file is also a database. Database is a collection of related data. Now try to understand. See, it is like this. You have, if you talk about a computer, we have hardware, right? On top of hardware, we have something which is called an operating system. Operating system is also software. On top of operating system, we have something called as database. Now there is a user. Okay, this is a user. Now this user wants to access this database. But to access this database, user needs something, some software, which is called as database management system. Right? But to talk with this database with the help of this DBMS, user needs some language. And for example, SQL. All of you might have heard about SQL, structured query language. So user can make use of a language like SQL, structured query language, to talk with the database with the help of DBMS, and it can insert the data and it can fetch the data from the database. Right? So see, try to understand. Even if you go some years beyond, maybe 50 years, 60 years, when there were no computers, at that time also database was there. Let me explain you with a simple example. See, when computers were not there, what people were doing? People were storing the data into books. So those books are nothing but what? Books are nothing but database. Okay. Now people were using something to write in that. So that is nothing but what? That is nothing but DBMs, right? So maybe they might be using pen, for example. So this pen is nothing but DBMs. Just try to understand the concept. So pen, you can just imagine it as a DBMS. Your book, it's database. And with the help of pen, they were writing in the book, and they were able to rough something also. So insert, update, delete. That means they were able to do all these operations in the book, in the database. With what? So here, machines use SQL. Humans were using some language, maybe for example, English language, maybe Hindi language, or something else, right? So instead of this English, machines use SQL. Instead of this book, machines use database like Oracle, MySQL, Microsoft Excel, and so on. And instead of this pen, there is DBMS. So just try to correlate the terms. So that's why I told you that. That's why I'm just trying to give the example that yes, Microsoft Excel is also a database. Text file is also a database. Just try to correlate terms. Okay. I hope everyone is clear about data, information, database, data warehouse, DBMS, RDBMS, and examples of databases. MySQL, Oracle, MongoDB, Microsoft Excel. Text file is also a database. You might be knowing about .txt file, you might be knowing about .csv file, comma separate file, or maybe .xlsx. Yes, this can be databases. Now talking about RDBMS databases. R in RDBMS, what I told you, R in RDBMS stands for relation, and relation in database terminology means what? Relation in database terminology always means table. Now, what are the examples of RDBMS databases? The examples of RDBMS databases are MySQL, because MySQL stores data in tabular form. Oracle can also store data in tabular form. So these are the examples of RDBMS database, because they can store data in tabular form. There is a database like MongoDB. MongoDB stores data in key and value field. So it's not a RDBMS database. Maybe in one of our assignments we will try to talk about that. Okay. Excel is not RDBMS. So Amin is saying that Excel is not RDBMS. How many of you agree with him? He is saying that Excel is not RDBMS. What I told you, RDBMS is nothing but what? R in RDBMS actually stands for relation. So relation in database terminology, it means what? Table. And Microsoft Excel stores data in what form? Does it store data in tabular form? I mean, can you just answer that? Can you just answer that? Microsoft Excel, does it store data in tabular form? Yes or no? If you are able to hear me, I mean, can you just answer? Does Microsoft Excel? Yes, we can store in tabular form. That's right. So it's RDBMS. Is it clear, I mean? Or do you have question? I mean, yeah. Okay. So yes, Excel is also RDBMS database. But see, now what's happening in current scenario? In the current scenario, for example, if you take example of social media like WhatsApp, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, you talk about anything. All these social media, they are not only generating the data in tabular form, but they are generating data in different forms. And that's why it's really very necessary to talk about other types of data, which may be in image format, which may be in video format, which may be audio format, like email data, sensor data. So RDBMS might not be able to handle that kind of data, and that's why there are some other technologies which are there. I'm not saying that RDBMS is of no use. Yes, absolutely, it's really very helpful. It's very important. But along with that, we are going to use some other technologies also to handle other type of data, which cannot be stored in tabular form. We'll try to talk about that also, right? So till this point, I hope everyone is clear about the basic terms like data, information. So Anurag is asking, sir, just a simple text file will be data warehouse instead of a database. See, if you talk about text file, yes, text file can also be a data warehouse because I told you that data warehouse at the end of the day is a database only. So if that's a very older data, yes, you can say a simple text file can also be a data warehouse. Is it clear, Anurag? I hope it answers your question. Right? Yes, that's possible. Yeah. Okay. Now, okay. So I hope everyone is clear about all these basic terms. Now, moving forward, what I will do is, as I started with this particular term, now I will just try to introduce you to different types of data. Okay. So let me. So I will just clear everything now, and let me talk about some other basic type. That is nothing but types of data. Okay. And yes, as I told you, keep on asking questions. If you have it out, people are already asking questions. That's good. If anyone is not able to understand anything, or if you want me to repeat anything, please need to ask. Okay, I want everyone to understand all this. I haven't yet started any topic from the syllabus itself. Okay, just let me just tell the people who joined here. See, just to make sense about all these things, I'm just trying to talk about the basic things which we are going to require later on. That's why I'm just trying to clear about all the basic. Now let me talk about types of data. So many of you might have heard about the type of data, and I have seen many people talking about something like structured data. So yes, structured data is one of the examples of types of data. But there are other types of data. For example, there is something called as semi-structured data. Again, this thing also many of you might have heard about. Semi-structured data is another example of data type. Data. There is one more type of a data which is called as quasi-structured data. So as we are going to talk about data science, definitely will come across this type of data. So quasi-structured data. We will talk about that. What is quasi-structured data? And finally, one more type is there. Many of you might have heard about that is called as unstructured data. Okay. So in general, data can be divided into these four types: structured data, semi-structured data, quasi-structured data, and unstructured data. Now let's try to talk about all these different types, and let's try to make some sense out of this. Okay? Now let me talk about structured data. What is structured data? So as I talked about RDBMS, right? So the data which is in tabular form, right? The data which is in tabular form, that is the example of structured data. That means the data which can be stored in the form of rows and columns. That is nothing but structured data. So you already have example, right? Just now we have seen Microsoft Excel can store structured data. MySQL, Oracle. So the data which can be stored in the form of rows and columns is nothing but structured data. As simple as that. There are a lot of examples like MySQL database, Oracle database, Microsoft Excel, and there are other databases also which can store structured data. Right? Simple. Tabular data is a structured data, as simple as that. If there is something new, we will try to definitely come across. We will definitely try to discuss about that. But for now, right now, for situation, for this time being, just remember that structured data is a tabular data. That's it. The data which can be stored in the form of rows and columns is structured data. So examples also I have told you, right? Microsoft Excel can store structured data and so on. Let's try to talk about semi-structured data. Best example of semi-structured data is XML database. Okay, or maybe many of you might have used some scripting languages to develop some websites. If not, don't worry, no problem. I will tell you what is semi-structured data and how it looks. So maybe some of you might have come across HTML. So how do we write down HTML code? Or you just open any website, right click on that website and click on inspect. You will be able to see the uh, complete code for that particular website, right? Yes, using tags. Monisha told that side. Okay. Sharon is saying that my voice is lagging and breaking. Is it the same thing happening with others? Can you just reply me that? Or Sharon, just let me know if I am audible or not. Okay, see Sharon, other people are saying that my voice is clear. They are saying that it's absolutely right. So can you please check on your side, Sharon, and let me know if any problem in future. I hope, Sharon, if I am not audible, what you can do is just drop off and once again join. Definitely, because I am already working on a good network. Okay. Yeah, I hope I am audible. So Sharon, just try it out. Just drop off and once again join. Okay. So someone has rightly said structured semi-structured data makes use of tags, right? So what happens if you want to see semi-structured kind of a data? So for example, go and maybe suppose let me show you here. Let me this. Let me open a tab. For example, if I go to Flipkart, I am opening the Flipkart website. Now let me click on this. First of all, let me clear this. Now see, I am on Flipkart website, right? Now, what I was talking about is, so I am talking about semi-structured data. So see, this website, whatever you are able to see on this website, obviously this is developed in some language. So see, if I go here, yeah, let me click here. Now, and click on inspect. If I go here and click on inspect, it's going to show me the code. So see, here it is going to come. This code, right? This on the right side. So what is this? This is nothing but the example of semi-structured data. So whatever the image, whatever the data, right? So whatever it is there, it is data plus code. This is the example of semi-structured data, and this data can be really very useful for analytics. Let me come here and okay. So I was talking about semi-structured data. So I have given the XML database is the best example of semi-structured data. So what do we do in this? So for example, I want to store some name. How we do? We use tags. So for example, we use a tag called as name. I want to store a name as Sachin, and how to close it? Slash and name. So this is an example of semi-structured data in which we have code as well as data. That's why it is called as semi-structured data. So even if someone is having some confusion about that, don't worry. For now, you can remember the example of semi-structured data as XML database or whatever I have shown. Just go right click on any website and click on inspect. You will be able to see semi-structured data, and this is really very useful. If I want to tell you application of semi-structured data, for example, I want to create an application or a project with the help of which I can find out what type of customers or what type of people generally visit my website, some business website, right? So what I can do, I can make use of semi-structured data in that. Or what are the reviews of all the customers about some product on Flipkart or on Amazon or on First Cry or on any business website or e-commerce website. I can easily find out that, or I can easily create the model with the help of the data which is available in the form of semi-structure, in the form of semi-structured data. Right? I hope all of you have understood what we mean by semi-structured data. Now let's try to move to the third type of data, that is nothing but quasi-structured data. So many of you might have heard about structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data. There is one more type of data which is called as quasi-structured data. So the best example of quasi-structured data I want to give here is this one, click string data. Now what do you mean by this? What do you mean by click string data? So click string data is the best example of semi-structured data. Let me talk about click string data. Suppose if I try to open a new tab, and maybe suppose uh, let me open something. Let me search something like WP. Okay, and enter. Now see, you will be able to see the data once I click enter here. Once I press enter, I am able to see all this data. Just try to observe here. See, I will just click on back. Just try to observe here. It is google.com, right? When I type WPU, right, and press enter, the contents of this address bar are going to change. Now see, I will go here, I will press enter. Now see the contents of the address bar are changed. Suppose if I click on this first result, again the contents of the address bar are going to change. So I clicked on that. Now see, again it is on mitwpu.edu.in. Now see the contents of the address bar are changed. Suppose if I go here and if I click on any other result, suppose if I am clicking on this one, again the contents of the address bar are going to change. Right? That means I am just trying to move to the new page. So if I go here, see contents of the address bar are changed. So the data which is being generated in the address bar, that is the thing but click stream data. The data which is generated whenever I click on some links, that is the best example of click stream data, and that type of data is called as quasi-structured data. Right? I hope everyone is able to understand what do you mean by quasi-structured data. Now, where one can make use of quasi-structured data. So if I want to tell you the best example of the real-time application where one can make use of quasi-structured data is, suppose if you want to design an application which is going to find out which types of websites or links a particular person visits most of the times in a day if he's sitting on some machine with some IP address, right? So if I want to find out a person sitting on some machine, if I want to find out which types of websites he most of the times visits, because what we can do is all those links or the quasi-structured data we can store in one file. So link 1, link 2, link 3, link 4, and so on. Suppose if someone is visiting second type of a link again and again, what you can do is you can apply some program on this data. Maybe a program like word count. What word count program does is it counts how many number of times a particular line is occurred, or particular word is occurred many times, what frequency of the word. So what can happen because of this one is you can create such an application which can help you to detect which type of website a person visits most of the times, or which types of videos, which types of contents a person visits most of the times. You might be using a machine, a particular machine with some IP address. So that type of application you can create with the help of quasi-structured data. That's a particular example. I'm not saying that it's a hard and fast rule that okay you can make use of quasi-structured data for that purpose. There are other applications also in which you can make use of quasi-structured kind of a data. Right? So try to understand quasi-structured data. The best example for quasi-structured data is clickstream data. So the data which is generated in the address bar. That's the example. Okay? That's the example. Like this, you will find out that there are other applications also where you can make use of quasi-structured data. So I hope everyone is clear about quasi-structured data. Now let me go and try to talk about the last type of data, that is unstructured data. So let's see what is unstructured. So the examples, if I want to give about unstructured data, there are a lot of examples. For example, audio data, MP3 files, right? Songs, unstructured data, audio files, video files, emails, right? Or maybe SMS. This is, or maybe sensor data, driverless cars. You might have heard about sensor data, robotics, which actually makes use of sensors. So they generate sensor data. That's an example of unstructured data. So audio file, video file, email, or maybe Facebook data, unstructured data. To talk about any social media for that matter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, any social media, right? YouTube data, YouTube generates a lot of data. So video data, right? YouTube data, video data. So all these are the examples of unstructured data. And if you talk about current scenario, you can say that more than 80% of data which is being generated is unstructured data. And that's why it's really very, very important to talk about unstructured data. Before few years, what was happening? Most of data was structured data because there were no social media kind of things were available. Maybe before 2000 or in 1990s, right? So there was no data which was generated because of social media, because social media were not used that much. But right now, if you see, everyone is having account on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, right? So they generate a huge data, and that's why that data is really very, very important. If you talk about any business, data is very, very important, right? So audio data, video data, SMS, email, WhatsApp data, WhatsApp chats, all these are the examples of unstructured data. And for analytics, why analytics is very, very, very necessary? Because with the help of analytics, you can make good decisions, and if the good decisions are made, there will be minimum risk in any business, right? Minimum risk means there is a possibility that business can have lot of profit. So that's the ultimate aim, right? So we will talk about all those things when we will discuss about some projects, some use cases, and we will implement it. Definitely, we will try to see all those things practically. Okay. So till this point, I hope everyone is clear about all these terms. If anyone is having any doubt regarding any term, ask me the question. I hope everyone is clear about what is structured data, what is semi-structured data, what is quasi-structured data, and what is unstructured data. If anyone is having any doubt, please ask. Because after this, I will try to talk about one more term, and that is what is the big data. And that will be all about the basic things which I want to talk about. Right? Is there any question? Anyone? Please ask. I hope someone will have some question. Yes, sir. MS Word comes under which type? So see, MS Word does not store the data in tabular form, right? So yes, the data which cannot be stored in tabular form is going to come under unstructured data. Even I will say that quasi-structured data can also be unstructured data, right? So the person was asking a question. I hope it is clear. Sharon, is it clear? MS Word you can say, or now you can say it can be under unstructured data. Is it clear, Sharon? Or you have it? Okay. Okay. Any other question, anyone? About all these terms, whatever we have discussed? Okay. No problem. Now, I hope everyone is clear. Now, I want to talk about this particular term. So, we will see what is big data. So, to understand what is big data, again, big data is dependent on some basic terms. So, maybe some of you might have heard about this particular term also. So, again, it's not a new term actually. We'll say that it's not a new term, it's for already there. It is just that more and more data is being generated because of all the social medias, because of all the applications which are being developed by the developers. So, big data, when this term was introduced before some years, so it was defined with the help of three V's. Right. And right now, if you talk about big data, it is actually defined with the help of five V's. There are a lot of definitions you will see about big data. Right. So we will see what are those five V's. We will try to talk about that. So first of all, let me list down what are the five V's about big data. Okay. So what is big data? Let me talk about that. So big data is actually defined with five V's, and those V's are like this. First one is volume. Then second V is velocity, okay, variety, varsity, and the last one is value. So volume, velocity, variety, varsity, and value. Based on these five V's, big data is actually defined. Now, what do you mean the volume? Volume means the size of the data. So generally, big data is in terabytes or petabytes or zettabytes. That is 10 raised to power 21 joules. Maybe more than that. So huge volume of data, huge size of data is considered as a big data. But yes, there are other aspects also. There are other aspects of the data. For example, velocity. So velocity means it talks about speed. The speed with which the data moves. The data moves from source to destination and vice versa. The best example of this one is sensor data. Okay? Sensor data. So whenever if I want to give the best example of some database which can store sensor data or which can store data in the form of key and value pair is nothing but MongoDB. So MongoDB is a database which can store key value pair data. So many times sensor data is also stored in that particular format. Okay. So velocity is nothing but what? Velocity is nothing but the speed with which the data travels from source to destination and vice versa. Right? Speed is very, very high. Variety means different varieties of data, different types of data, structured, semi-structured, quasi-structured, unstructured, audio, video, MP3 files, social media data, and so on. Right? So variety of data, different types of data. So that is also part of big data. Varsity is nothing but what? Varsity is nothing but trustworthiness. Trustworthiness. What do you mean by this? That means the source from which the data is being collected, the source from which the data is being fetched, that source should be a trustworthy source. That means that data should not be something like a fraud data. It should be trustworthy source, right? Because at the end of the day, we should get correct results. And what do you mean by value? Value means the value which data creates. Value may be in terms of money, or value may be in terms of profit. Okay, so that's what big data actually involves or revolves around. So volume, velocity, variety, varsity, and value. We will talk about all these terms maybe more detail in coming sessions. Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about for today itself. Okay, so let me tell you something. Okay, remaining terms definitely we will talk about in the next session. So what you people do is those people who are present, you might be having your roll numbers or seat numbers. Just send your roll numbers or seat numbers in the chat box because that is what I am going to make use of for your attendance. Right? I hope everyone is having seat numbers, roll numbers. Yes, just your name and roll number and seat number. That will be enough for your attendance. So maybe in 5 minutes, just send me your roll number and seat number in the chat box. So this is what we will be following in every session, right? And you might be knowing the timing. Timing is 2:30 to. No problem. If someone's name is yet to be added, don't worry. You just send your roll number and your seat number, your name and your seat number. If someone's name, if it is not added in the list, don't worry about that. That will be updated later. But for now, for me to make your just for your attendance, send it to me in the chat box. Done, everyone. I hope people still sending. So what you people can do is after this session, always remember that whenever we will start with the session, just go on sending your seat numbers and roll numbers because that will be for my record, right? That is what I am going to make use of to mark you as a present or absent. So those who are absent, let them also know about all this. So all these sessions are going to be very interesting. I will be telling you about all those things. So AI students had not received yesterday's lecture link. So Anushka, there was no lecture which was conducted yesterday. This is the first lecture. Is it clear, Anushka? This is your first class. Yeah. Is everyone done? Everyone send the seat numbers, roll numbers, and name. I hope everyone is done. Okay. Yeah, and see, one more point. As I told you earlier, if someone feels that I should unmute that person, let me know. Okay? No problem. I just muted all of you because otherwise it would have been a very chaos kind of thing, right? That's why I just avoided that. So if someone feels that okay, I need to ask some question, and for that I should be unmuted, no problem. Just let me know in the chat box, and I will unmute. Okay, anyone remaining? I hope everyone does. And one more thing, if by chance someone is not able to send the seat number or roll number in the chat box, this is what my WhatsApp number. Okay, this is what my WhatsApp number, or I already, you know, right? In the group also it is 965 This is what my WhatsApp number. By chance, if someone is because of some reason not able to send the seat number or roll number, maybe because of internet connection, unavailability, or anything, but do not do it every time. Okay? This is, I feel that many times many people face internet issue. That's why I'm telling you this. Okay, no problem. I hope everyone is done with that. Let me clear everything. So, guys, I'm going to stop here. And in the next session, we will try to start with the first unit itself. I will revise everything, whatever we have discussed today, and then straightforward we will start. Okay. So, bye all of you. We will meet tomorrow, same time.